I'm Nora, 32, standing in a lavender dress at my sister Abigail's wedding. The garden glows with fairy lights, their soft twinkle catching the edges of white roses. Soft music hums a violin weaving through the warm air. I spent weeks picking this dress, its fabric cool against my skin, hoping today would stitch our frayed bond back together. Childhood memories flood in us, giggling over secrets in our old treehouse, fireflies dancing around us. I spot Abigail radiant and call out, "Congratulations!" She looks right past me, her smile gone, her eyes darting to the crowd. My parents turn away too, faces stiff, their whispers lost in the chatter. My heart dips, a quiet ache blooming, but I touch the bracelet she gave me years ago. Its beads worn smooth, clinging to hope. Have you ever felt unseen in a moment meant for love? I'm curious where you're watching from. Drop your city below, hit like if this hits home, and subscribe for stories that feel real. I weave through the reception, a glass of sparkling cider cold in my hand, its fizz sharp against my lips. The garden hums with laughter tables, draped in white linen candles flickering like tiny heartbeats. Abigail's across the lawn, radiant in her gown, surrounded by Ethan and her friends, their voices a bright tangle. I catch her eye and wave a small, hopeful gesture, my fingers brushing the air. She turns her laugh bright as she leans into someone else, her back a wall. My stomach twists a dull pang, but I tell myself she's just caught up in the moment, the bride's whirlwind. I sip my cider, the bubbles sharp on my tongue, and scan the crowd for a familiar face, the chatter swelling around me like a tide. My parents are at a table near the dance floor, Margaret in a navy dress, her pearls catching the light. Robert adjusting his tie with quick, nervous tugs. I walk over, forcing a smile, my shoes clicking on the stone path. "Hi," I say, "how was the drive up?" Margaret glances at me, her nod quick like she's checking a box on some invisible list. "Long," she says, her eyes sliding to the crowd. Robert mumbles about helping with the cake table and brushes past me, his shoulder grazing mine. The air feels heavy, their dismissal a quiet slap that stings more than it should. I stand there, fingers tightening around my glass, the cold biting my palm, wondering what I did wrong, my pulse a soft drum in my ears. I spot Sadie, my cousin by the dessert bar, her curls bouncing as she chats with a server, her laugh cutting through the noise. She's always been my safe harbor, the one who'd listen when family tensions simmered, her kitchen table, a refuge for my teenage rants. She sees me and waves me over, her smile warm, but her eyes narrowing as she takes me in, reading my face like an open book. "You okay, Nora?" she asks, voice low, her hand brushing my arm. I hesitate, then admit, I don't know. Abigail didn't even look at me earlier, and Mom and Dad are acting weird. Sadie frowns, glancing at the crowd, her earrings glinting. "She's been off lately," she says, but doesn't elaborate, her words, cryptic heavy. They sit like stones in my chest, stirring unease, a shadow I can't shake. I think back to when Abigail and I started drifting, a slow unraveling I didn't see coming. College took me across the country and I got caught up in late-night study sessions, new friends, the thrill of a life I was building. I'd call home, my voice echoing through dorm halls, but Abigail was always busy, her replies short-clipped. I figured she was just growing up, finding her own path, her world of internships and boyfriends. But standing here watching her glow in her new world, I wonder if I missed something bigger. Did I not try hard enough? Was I too wrapped up in my own life to notice hers pulling away? The thought gnaws at me, a quiet ache that settles in my bones, heavy as the cider in my hand. A photographer moves through the crowd, his camera flashing, calling for a family photo. My heart lifts, thinking this is my chance to belong, to be part of their frame. I step forward, smoothing my dress, the fabric soft under my fingers. But the group forms without me, Abigail, Ethan, my parents, her in-laws, all smiling for the lens, their arms linked. No one notices me hovering at the edge, my shadow long on the grass. The camera clicks a sharp snap, and they disperse their laughter, carrying over the music, bright and careless. I'm left standing alone, my bracelet cool against my wrist, its tiny beads a fragile tether to a time when I mattered to her. My throat tightens, the sting of being overlooked sharper now, a blade I didn't see coming. But I'm not ready to give up. Not yet. I take a deep breath and decide to try again with Abigail. The band shifts to a slower song, the notes soft and wistful, and she's standing near the floral arch adjusting her veil, its lace catching the light. I walk over my heels, sinking slightly into the grass, each step deliberate, and muster a smile, my lips trembling. "Your dress is stunning," I say, my voice warm, hoping the compliment will spark something, a flicker of the sister I knew. She glances at me, her eyes flat, almost bored. "Thanks," she mutters, then turns to greet a couple I don't recognize, her smile blooming for them. My smile falters, and a cold knot forms in my chest, tight and unyielding. I step back, blending into the crowd, my face burning, as if I've been dismissed by a stranger, the rejection sharper than the night's cool air. Sadie finds me again, her expression tense, her eyes darting to the guests around us. She pulls me toward a quieter corner near the gift table, where the chatter fades, the clink of glasses distant. "I heard something," she whispers, her voice urgent, her breath warm against my ear. "Diane, Ethan's mom, was talking to your parents about some family decision to keep you out of things. I don't know details, but it sounded deliberate, calculated." My pulse quickens, the words landing like a stone, heavy and cold. A family decision against me. I shake my head, trying to process it, but the idea feels too heavy, too wrong, like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit. My fingers fidget with my bracelet, its beads clicking softly, grounding me. As we stand there, my Aunt Pamela approaches, her wineglass tilted in her hand, her lipstick smudged. She eyes my dress, her lips curling slightly, a smirk that doesn't reach her eyes. "Oh, Nora," she says, her voice loud enough to draw glances from nearby tables. "That dress is so simple. Couldn't you have tried a bit harder for Abigail's big day?" The words hit like a jab, sharp and personal, and a few guests turn their stares, prickling my skin like needles. I mumble something about liking the dress, my voice barely audible, and excuse myself, my cheeks hot, the air thick with their judgment. Pamela's always been sharp-tongued, but her comment feels like an echo of something larger, something others are thinking, a chorus I can't unhear. I slip away to the edge of the garden where the lights don't quite reach the grass, cool under my feet. My mind races, replaying every interaction, searching for a misstep. Have I been blind to some grudge I think of the last time Abigail and I talked months ago, a stiff phone call about wedding plans? Her voice clipped over the line. She'd been distant, but I chalked it up to stress, the chaos of planning. Now I'm not so sure. I dig through my purse for a tissue, my fingers brushing receipts and lip balm, and find something else, a folded note yellowed with age tucked in a side pocket. It's from my grandmother, her handwriting shaky but clear. "Always stand tall, Nora. You are enough." I'd forgotten it was there, a relic from a summer long gone when we'd sit on her porch shelling peas. My fingers trace the words, and a flicker of resolve sparks in me, pushing back the hurt, a small flame in the dark. But the moment shatters when I look up and see Abigail laughing with Harper, her best friend, their heads bent close, their silhouettes sharp against the lights. Harper glances my way, her smile tightening, a glint of something knowing in her eyes, and I feel a chill, sharp and sudden. There's something in her look, a quiet malice that makes my stomach lurch, like I've stumbled into a trap I didn't see. I want to march over, demand answers, but my feet stay rooted, heavy as the earth beneath me. The weight of the night, the cold shoulders, the whispers. Pamela's jab presses down, and I realize this isn't just a misunderstanding. Something's been planned, something meant to keep me on the outside. My breath catches the ache in my chest, sharpening into something fiercer, something that demands I find out why. The band picks up tempo, and the reception shifts into toasts, the clink of glasses sharp in the air. I linger near the back, my grandmother's note still clenched in my hand, its edges soft against my skin, a faint shield against the growing ache. Guests raise their glasses as Harper steps to the microphone, her voice clear and warm, cutting through the chatter. She talks about family, how it binds us through every storm, her words polished, practiced. Her eyes flick to me, sharp and deliberate, as she says, "Unity means everything today." The crowd claps their cheers a wave, but I feel like I've been slapped the words appointed exclusion. Not a single toast mentions me, not even a nod to Abigail's sister. It's as if I'm not here, my presence erased from their story. I catch Sadie's eye across the lawn, her figure small against the sea of guests. She's weaving through tables, her face tight with worry, her steps quick. She pulls me behind a cluster of roses, their petals brushing my arm, her voice barely above a whisper. I heard Abigail talking to Ethan. She says her words rushed her breath uneven. She said you didn't belong here, Nora. That you shouldn't have come. My breath catches the ground tilting under me, the rose's scent suddenly cloying. Didn't belong, the words echo, each one a splinter in my chest, sharp and unyielding. Sadie grabs my arm, her eyes fierce, her nails pressing lightly into my skin. "I'm so mad I could scream," she says, but I just shake my head, too stunned to speak my thoughts, a jumbled mess. I need answers. I spot my father Robert near the bar, sipping a drink alone, the ice clinking softly in his glass. My legs move before I can think, carrying me to him, my dress swishing against my thighs. "Dad." I say, my voice steady despite the tremor inside the note still in my hand. Why is everyone acting like I'm invisible? His jaw tightens and he sets his glass down hard, the sound sharp in the quiet corner. "This isn't about you, Nora." He snaps his eyes, avoiding mine. "Stop making a scene. It's Abigail's day." His tone cuts deeper than Pamela's jab, deeper than Abigail's cold shoulder, a blade that finds the softest part of me. My own father dismissing me like I'm a stranger causing trouble. I step back, my eyes stinging, but I refuse to let the tears fall, my fingers crushing the note. As I turn away, a child's voice breaks through the noise, small but piercing. It's Piper, my young cousin, tugging at her mother's sleeve near the dessert table, her pigtails bouncing. "Why isn't Aunt Nora in the pictures?" she asks, her tone curious and loud, carrying over the hum of the crowd. Her mother, my Aunt Lisa, shushes her quickly, her eyes darting to me with a mix of pity and discomfort, her hand smoothing Piper's hair. The guests nearby shift awkwardly, their whispers buzzing like static, their glances sharp as pins. My face burns, the humiliation sinking into my bones, a weight I can't shake. Piper's innocent question lays bare what everyone's been tiptoeing around. I'm not just overlooked. I'm erased. I clutch the note tighter, my knuckles white, its words a distant echo against the anger bubbling up, hot and unfamiliar, mixing with a grief I can't name. This isn't just a bad day or a misunderstanding. My family, Abigail, my parents. Even the guests who see me standing here, they're choosing to push me out, their silence louder than the music. I think of a moment years ago, a family picnic where I waited for someone to pass me the lemonade, only to realize they'd forgotten I was there. The realization twists in my gut sharper now, and I feel the weight of every moment I've spent trying to fit into their world. I want to scream, to demand why, but the words stay lodged in my throat, sharp and heavy, cutting me from the inside. I stumble away from the dessert table, Piper's questions still ringing in my ears, a child's clarity slicing through the fog. The garden feels smaller now, the air thick with the scent of roses and wine, almost suffocating. I need space, but there's nowhere to go. The crowd presses in their laughter, a dull roar grating against my raw nerves. I spot a caterer balancing a tray of champagne flutes, her apron crisp, and follow her toward the service area, hoping for a moment to breathe, to think. Sadie catches up, her voice low and urgent, her steps quick behind me. "Nora." I heard something else, she says, glancing over her shoulder, her earrings catching the light. "Abigail told the staff to keep an eye on you like you're some kind of problem." My heart lurches, a fresh wound opening. A problem, the words carve into me, and I grip the edge of a table, its wood rough under my fingers, to steady myself. My mind reels back to a memory I've tried to bury, sharp and vivid. I was 12 and Abigail 15. Broke our mother's crystal vase, a wedding gift from our grandparents, its shards glinting on the floor. She swore it was me, her face calm as she lied, her voice steady. My parents believed her, grounding me for a month, their disappointment heavy in the air. I cried myself to sleep, and just for the punishment, but for the ease with which she betrayed me her lie a wall between us. Standing here now, that old pain resurfaces raw and jagged, as if no time has passed. Is this who she's always been? A sister who chooses ease over truth. I see Ethan across the lawn adjusting his cufflinks alone for a moment, his tie slightly loosened. Maybe he'll listen. I weave through the guests, my pulse hammering the grass uneven under my heels. Ethan, I say, keeping my voice even though my hands tremble. Can we talk? I don't understand why Abigail's shutting me out. He sighs, his expression tired, his eyes flicking to the crowd. She's under a lot of stress, Nora, he says. Don't take it personally. Just enjoy the party. His words are a brush-off, as if my pain is an inconvenience, a minor note in their perfect day. I nod, swallowing the lump in my throat, and turn away before he sees my eyes well up the rejection, a fresh bruise. Near the guest book table, I pause to steady my breathing, the air warm with the scent of ink and paper. The book lies open, filled with warm wishes for Abigail and Ethan, their names scrawled in looping script. But one entry catches my eye, scrawled in sharp, angry ink. Nora doesn't belong here. Unwanted. The words blur as my vision swims, each letter a stab. I don't recognize the handwriting, but Harper's smirk from earlier flashes in my mind, her eyes cold and knowing. My hands tremble as I rip the page out, crumpling it into my fist, the paper crackling. The act feels futile, like trying to erase a truth everyone already knows. I shove the paper into my purse, my chest tight, with rage and shame, the weight of it pulling me under. The music swells and couples flood the dance floor, their joy a cruel contrast to the storm inside me, their laughter sharp as glass. I stand frozen, the crumpled note heavy in my bag. Ethan's dismissal echoing the caterer's revelation, burning like a brand. My family's not just ignoring me, they're guarding against me as if I'm the one who's done something wrong. I think of a childhood game where Abigail would hide my favorite doll, laughing as I searched her amusement, a quiet cruelty. The betrayal sinks deeper, a weight I can't shake. I'm trapped in this perfect, glittering night, surrounded by people who've already decided I'm nothing, their verdict final. The crumpled guestbook page burns a hole in my purse as I weave back toward the heart of the reception, my steps unsteady on the uneven grass. The band's music feels distant, muffled by the roar in my head, a relentless churn of questions. I need to know why. Why my sister, my parents, this entire night feels like a conspiracy to erase me. Sadie's still by the roses, her eyes wide as she talks to Diane, Ethan's mother, their voices low under the hum of the crowd. I catch her glance, urgent, and hurry over my heels, catching my breath shallow. Sadie grabs my wrist before I can speak, her grip firm. "Nora," she whispers, "I got it out of Diane. Abigail thinks you told everyone Ethan was cheating. That's why they're shutting you out." My knees nearly buckle, the air thin around me. Cheating? I've never said a word about Ethan, not to anyone, not a whisper. The accusation is so absurd, it's almost laughable, but the weight of it crushes me, a boulder on my chest. My sister believes I'd sabotage her happiness, and my parents bought into it without a question, their trust in me gone. I open my mouth to protest, but Sadie shakes her head, her eyes fierce. "It's a lie, Nora. Someone fed it to her. I'm shaking the world, tilting the roses' scent dizzying. Who would do this? And why would Abigail believe it?" My mind races, replaying every moment I thought we were sisters. I spot her across the lawn, swaying with Ethan under the twinkling lights, her face glowing with a joy that feels like a knife in my chest, sharp and cold. I start toward her, my pulse pounding, determined to set this right, to make her see me. I need her to look me in the eye and explain why she'd trust a rumor over her own sister. But my mother steps into my path, her face a mask of warning, her eyes hard as stone. "Nora," she hisses, "don't you dare ruin this day." Her words are a wall, solid and cold, blocking me from the truth, her voice low but cutting. I freeze my resolve, wavering under her glare, but the anger inside me surges hotter than ever, a fire I can't contain. Before I can push past, Harper's voice cuts through the crowd, bright and commanding, a beacon pulling everyone's attention. Let's have a special family moment, she calls, waving everyone to the dance floor, her smile wide but sharp. Guests cheer, and my family Abigail, Ethan, my parents Diane, gathers in a tight circle, their arms linked, smiling for the cameras, their faces lit with joy. I'm left on the sidelines, the only one not called forward, my presence a ghost in their frame. Eyes turn to me, some curious, some pitying, and the heat of their stares sears my skin, a spotlight I can't escape. I'm exposed, a stranger at my sister's wedding, the lie about me hanging in the air like smoke choking me. My hands clench, nails digging into my palms as the truth sinks in. They've all chosen to believe I'm the villain, and I'm alone in their verdict. A soft touch on my arm pulls me back, a fleeting anchor. It's Tessa, a server. I hadn't noticed before, her face kind, her apron smudged with flour. She slips me a tissue, her fingers gentle, and murmurs, "You don't deserve this," her voice barely audible over the music, her eyes soft with understanding. Her small gesture is a lifeline, a thread of kindness in the chaos, but it's not enough to stop the storm inside me. The lie, the exclusion, the public shame, it's all too much, a weight pressing down until I can't breathe. My chest heaves, and I feel the edges of my control fraying, ready to snap under the unbearable weight of this night. The truth a wound I can't close. Tessa's tissue is soft in my hand, but it can't soak up the flood inside me, the raw ache that swallowed me whole. The family dance ends and the crowd scatters, their cheers fading into a dull hum, a distant echo. I slip toward a shadowed corner by the garden's edge, where the fairy lights don't reach the grass damp under my feet. My legs tremble as I sink onto a stone bench, the cold seeping through my dress, chilling my skin. The lie about Ethan, the one Abigail swallowed whole, churns in my mind, a relentless loop. I want to scream that it's not true, that I'd never hurt her, but the words feel useless, swallowed by the night, lost in the music's swell. Sadie appears, her face pale, her voice shaking, her steps quick as she crouches beside me, her dress brushing the ground. "I confronted Harper," she says, her words tumbling out urgent. "She admitted it, Nora. She told Abigail you spread the rumor, said she was protecting her. But it was her, all her. She thought you were jealous, wanted you gone." My breath stops, the air gone from my lungs. Harper, the best friend who's been by Abigail's side all night, her confidant, her sister in all but blood. The betrayal cuts deeper than I thought possible, a blade twisting in my gut, sharp and unrelenting. Harper didn't just lie, she crafted this to erase me, to carve me out of Abigail's life. My eyes dart to the dance floor where Harper's laughing with a guest, her glass raised like nothing's wrong, her ease a cruel mockery. The sight of her victory, her careless joy, ignites a fire in my chest. But it's drowned by a heavier truth. My family chose her word over mine. They didn't even ask me, didn't pause to question. I clutch my purse, the crumpled guestbook page inside, a silent scream of that truth, its edges sharp against my fingers. My fingers brush the quilt I brought for Abigail, hand-stitched over months, each square a memory of us laughing at the lake, sharing secrets under blankets. It's still on the gift table, untouched, unnoticed like me, a piece of my heart discarded. The band shifts to a song we used to sing as kids, Abigail and I belting it out in our old backyard, our voices high and fearless. The melody wraps around me, cruel and familiar, pulling tears I can't stop hot against my cheeks. I'm sobbing now, my hands pressed to my face, the quilt's weight in my mind heavier than ever. I left it there, a piece of my heart for a sister who thinks I'm a liar. I think of the nights I spent stitching it, my fingers pricked by the needle, hoping it would bring us closer. The lie. Harper's malice, my family's blind faith, it's a wall I can't climb, a truth I can't unsee. I'm breaking the pieces of me, scattering in this perfect, unbearable night with no way to put them back together. My tears dry on my cheeks, the band's song fading into the night, its notes a fading echo. I'm still on the stone bench, the garden's glow a distant blur, the air thick with dew. Harper's lie. Abigail's belief, my family's rejection, they've shattered something in me, a fragile hope I'd held too long. But I can't stay here crumbling under their verdict. I stand, my legs unsteady, the benches cold, lingering on my skin, and make a choice. I'm leaving. Not just this wedding, but the weight of trying to be enough for people who don't see me. I slip through the crowd, avoiding the dance floor's swirl, my steps quiet, deliberate. My car's parked under a dim streetlight, a quiet escape, its metal cool under my hand. I drive the road, blurring through my tears, the hum of the engine steadying my pulse. I spot a diner, its neon sign flickering a beacon in the dark. Inside, it's warm smelling of coffee and fried eggs, the air rich with grease and comfort. I slide into a booth, my lavender dress out of place among the worn vinyl seats, its color muted under the fluorescent lights. The waitress, her name tag reading Clara, sets a mug of coffee before me without asking, its steam curling up. "You look like you need this," she says, her smile soft, her eyes kind. I nod, grateful, my hands wrapping around the warmth, the mug's heat grounding me. I pull a napkin from the dispenser, its texture rough, and grab a pen from my purse, its ink smudged from the night. My heart still racing, but I start writing to Abigail, the words spilling out. I pour out the truth. I never spoke a word about Ethan, never betrayed her. I tell her how her silence tonight broke me, how I spent months stitching that quilt for her, each stitch a hope for us, how I wanted us to be sisters again. But I also write that I'm done chasing her approval, done bending myself to fit her world. I wish you joy. I end, but I need to choose myself now. My hand shakes as I fold the napkin, but it feels right, like reclaiming a piece of me, a quiet rebellion. Clara passes by, refilling my cup, her apron crinkled, and pauses. "Rough night?" She asks, her voice gentle, her hand steady. I hesitate, then nod, my throat tight. "Family stuff." I say, my voice barely above a whisper. She sits across from me, her shift slow, the diner quiet. "My brother cut me out years ago," she says, her eyes distant but warm. "Hurt like hell, but walking away saved me. You're stronger than you know." Her words sink in a stranger's kindness, lighting something inside me, a spark I hadn't felt before. I thank her, my voice thick, and slip the napkin into my purse, its weight a promise. There's a postbox across the street, glowing under a lamp, its metal gleaming faintly. I know what I have to do. I step outside, the night air cool against my skin, sharp with the scent of asphalt and dew. The postbox is solid, real. A small anchor in the chaos, its surface cold under my fingers. I slide the napkin through the slot, the soft thud final echoing in the quiet. It's not just a letter, it's me letting go of the sister I thought I had, the version I stitched into that quilt. My chest feels lighter, but there's a fire growing too, a quiet strength I haven't felt in years, a resolve that hums like the diner's neon. I'm not done yet. There's more I need to do, more ways to stand tall, and I'm ready to keep moving. Back in the diner, the coffee's gone cold, but I'm still buzzing from mailing the letter, the act a line drawn in my heart. Clara's words echo, "You're stronger than you know," and they're sinking in, rooting somewhere deep like a seed taking hold. I pull out my phone, the screen lit with notifications I've ignored, a cascade of names. Abigail. My parents, even a missed call from Ethan, their urgency. A stark contrast to my silence. I don't listen to the voicemails, not yet. Instead, I open my contacts and block their numbers one by one, my thumb steady. It's temporary, just enough to carve out space for me to breathe, to find my footing. My thumb hovers over Sadie's name, and I call her instead, the line ringing softly. She picks up on the first ring, her voice thick with worry, urgent. "Nora, where are you?" I tell her I left, that I'm okay, but need time, my voice calm but firm. "You were my rock tonight," I say. "Thank you." She's quiet, then says, "I've got your back, always," her words a warm thread in the cold. We hang up, and I feel a thread of warmth, a reminder. I'm not alone, a tether to something real. I grab another napkin, its edges frayed, and start writing again, but this time it's for me, a list I've never dared to make. I write things I love about myself, my patience, my knack for finding beauty in small moments, the way I keep going even when it hurts, the quiet stubbornness that brought me here. It's awkward at first, the words clumsy like learning a new language, but each one feels like a brick in a new foundation, solid and mine. I've never done this before, never stopped to see myself outside their expectations, their shadows. The diner's hum fades, as I write the clatter of dishes distant, the world narrowing to this booth, this moment of claiming my worth. My phone buzzes a text from Sadie, its glow sharp in the dim light. Harper's lie got exposed, she writes. Ethan called her out in front of Abigail. It's a mess. I stare at the words, picturing the reception unraveling Harper's smug mask, cracking under the weight of her own deceit, her laughter silenced. A flicker of vindication sparks a brief warmth, but it's not enough to pull me back. I don't need their chaos anymore, their drama or their regrets. I text Sadie. Keep it quiet, please. I'm figuring things out. She replies with a simple, got it, love you. And I set the phone down, my hands steadier now, the napkin's ink smudging under my fingers. I think of the old photo in my apartment, Abigail and me at a county fair, cotton candy sticky on our fingers, our smiles wide under a summer sky. We were kids, unbreakable or so, I thought, our laughter echoing across the years. I used to keep it on my dresser, a reminder of what we could be, a hope I carried too long. But it's been a weight tying me to a version of her that doesn't exist, a sister who vanished long before the wedding. When I get home, I'll tuck it in a box, not out of anger, but to make room for me to clear space for my own light. The thought is freeing, like shedding a skin I've outgrown, light as the diner's air. Clara swings by, wiping her hands on her apron, her smile soft. Heading out, she asks, her voice a gentle pull. I nod. Leaving cash for the coffee and a generous tip, the bills crisp under my fingers. You're gonna be okay, she says, her eyes kind, steady. I believe her, the words settling like a promise. I step into the parking lot, the night crisp and vast, the stars faint above the diner's glow. My car's waiting its door, cool under my hand. But I pause, looking up at the sky. The stars a quiet reminder of what endures. I take a slow breath, my heart quiet for the first time tonight. I slip into the driver's seat, close the door and turn the key. The engine's hum, a promise. I'm not running. I'm choosing my own road. The engine hums as I pull into my apartment's lot. The sky bruised with early dawn, a soft purple bleeding into gray. My phone silent since I blocked their numbers, sits heavy in my purse, its weight a reminder of the night. Inside my place is quiet, the familiar creak of the floor grounding me, the air cool and still. I kick off my heels, the lavender dress clinging like a memory I'm not ready to face, its fabric heavy with the garden's scent. I set my purse on the counter, avoiding the urge to check it, and sink onto the couch, the cushions soft but unfamiliar, like I'm a guest in my own life. The stillness feels fragile, like it could crack under the weight of what I've done, the line I've drawn. An hour passes, maybe less, when my phone vibrates, slipping through the block on a different number, its buzz sharp in the quiet. It's Abigail, her name glowing on the screen. Then another buzz, my mother. Ethan's name flashes next, followed by my father, a cascade of calls I didn't expect. The screen lights up, call after call, a flood that feels like a tide turning. I let them pile up, the voicemails stacking like letters I'm too raw to open, their urgency a strange mirror to my silence. My hands shake, not with fear, but with the strange power of my absence, the space I've claimed. They're reaching out, and I'm the one holding the line, my choice reshaping the night. Curiosity wins, a quiet pull I can't ignore. I play Abigail's message first, her voice cracked and trembling, barely recognizable. Nora. I'm so sorry, she says, her words breaking. I was wrong about you. Please come back. I need to explain. My mother's is next, softer, almost hesitant, her voice unfamiliar in its vulnerability. We made a mistake, she says. We didn't know. Call us, please. Each word is a thread pulling at the wound from the wedding, but they don't unravel me. I've spent years waiting for apologies that never came, chasing their approval through every silence. Now they're here, but they feel distant, like echoes from a life I'm stepping away from, a story I'm rewriting. A knock at the door startles me sharp in the quiet. It's Lucas, my neighbor holding a package misdelivered to his place, its corners dented. His easy smile falters when he sees my face still streaked from the night, my eyes puffy. "Everything okay?" he asks, leaning against the frame, his voice calm but curious. I shrug, too tired to lie my shoulders heavy. "Rough family stuff," I say, my words clipped. He nods, no judgment. His eyes kind, and offers a walk around the block to clear my head, his dog's leash dangling in his hand. I almost say no, the walls of my apartment too close, too heavy. But the air outside calls. We step outside, the morning air sharp, the street quiet except for the soft chirp of sparrows, their song a gentle hum. Lucas talks about his dog, his job. Small things, a leaky faucet, a new coffee shop, tethering me to the present, pulling me from the garden's weight. His chatter is a kindness, a reminder that the world keeps turning steady and real. We loop back to my building, the skylighter now, and Lucas heads off with a wave, his dog trotting beside him. I sit on the front steps, my phone still buzzing in my pocket, the concrete cool under me. The voicemails wait, each one a question. I'm not ready to answer, their weight heavy but distant. Abigail's tears, my mother's plea, they're real, but they don't erase the night, the lie, the way they turned away. I've walked away, drawn a line, and now they're scrambling to cross it, their urgency a mirror to my absence. The power in that shifts something in me, but it's not triumph, not yet. It's heavy, a quiet ache that settles in my chest, holding me still as the dawn breaks, the light soft but unyielding. The dawn's light creeps through my blinds as I sit on the steps, my phone now silent in my lap, its screen dark. Lucas's footsteps fade down the street, leaving me with the sparrows and my thoughts, their chirps a soft rhythm. I unlock the screen, the voicemails still waiting, their presence a weight I can feel. But I don't play them again. Instead, a new text from Sadie lights up, its words sharp in the dim morning. "Harper's lie blew up," she writes. She confessed in front of everyone after Ethan pressed her. "Abigail's a wreck, Nora." I stare at the words, picturing the reception, unraveling, Harper's smug mask cracking under the weight of her own deceit, her laughter silenced in the crowd's gaze. A small part of me feels a pulse of justice, a brief flare, but it's fleeting, overshadowed by the hollow ache of knowing it took this for them to see, to turn back to me. I stand, my legs stiff from the cold steps, and head inside, the doors creak, familiar grounding. My apartment feels different now, like a space I'm claiming for the first time, its walls no longer a cage. I pull out a notebook, the one I used for grocery lists, its pages worn, and start a new letter, this time to my parents. My pen moves slowly, deliberate, the ink steady. I write about the wedding, how their silence cut deeper than Abigail's, how I've spent years trying to be the daughter they'd notice, my efforts invisible. I don't beg or accuse, I just lay it bare, asking for space, for boundaries, for a chance to heal. The words feel like stones I've carried too long, finally set down, each one a release, a step toward myself. My phone buzzes again, a message from Jenna, a coworker who's more friend than colleague. Her words a soft light. "Sadie told me what happened," she writes. "Getaway this weekend, you need it." Her offer is a lifeline, a reminder of people who choose me without conditions, who see me without needing proof. I reply, count me in my fingers quick, and feel a flicker of something like hope, fragile but real, a warmth that doesn't depend on the wedding's glow or the family I lost in that garden. It's enough for now, a small spark in the quiet. I walk to my closet, the lavender dress still draped over a chair, its folds catching the morning light. It's beautiful, chosen with care, but it carries the night's weight, the garden's sting. I fold it carefully, tucking it into a donation bag, its fabric soft under my fingers. There's a thrift shop down the street that supports local shelters, a place where clothes find new stories. I'll drop it off tomorrow, let it become someone else's joy, a new beginning. The act feels quiet, final, like closing a book I've read too many times, its pages worn, but no longer mine. I don't cry. I don't need to. Back on the couch, I sit with the notebook, the letter to my parents open before me, its words raw and true. Sadie's text replays in my mind, Harper's confession, Abigail's regret, the chaos I walked away from. They're scrambling now, their calls and tears proof of my absence's impact, a tide I set in motion. But it's not victory, not a win to savor. It's just truth. Cold and clear, settling over me like dusk, heavy but steady. I've drawn a line and they're on the other side. Their voices distant, their apologies too late to mend what broke. I close my eyes, the weight of it all pressing down, and let the silence hold me a quiet that feels like mine. A week after the wedding, I'm in my apartment, the morning sun slanting through the window, its light warm on the wooden floor. I've started yoga, something I never thought I'd try, the mat soft under my knees. The instructor's voice hums from my laptop, guiding me through a slow stretch, her tone calm, steady. My muscles protest, but there's a quiet release in the movement, like I'm unknotting something deeper than my body, a tension I've carried too long. I breathe in, hold, and let go the rhythm steadying me, a new ritual in the quiet. My phone stays silent now, no more frantic calls, the absence a space I've carved for myself, a small victory that feels like breathing. I step onto my balcony where a few pots of lavender sit their tiny purple buds, just starting to open their scent sharp and sweet. I planted them days ago, a whim that turned into a ritual, the soil rich under my fingers. The act of watering them, the slow drip of the can, grounds me, tethering me to something alive, something mine. It's not about the wedding anymore, not about that dress or the night I left behind. It's about building something new, something that doesn't depend on their approval, their gaze. The lavender sways in the breeze, a quiet promise of growth. Sadie's coming over later and I'm looking forward to it, her presence a steady light. She's been a constant, her texts and calls a thread through the chaos, her voice a reminder of what stays. I tidy the kitchen, setting out a plate for the cookies. She always brings the counter cool under my hands. As I wipe it down, I think about Abigail's wedding. But it's different now. The memory softer, less sharp. The anger's faded, replaced by a clarity that's both sharp and soft, a lens I didn't have before. I spent years chasing a place in their story, twisting myself to fit their frame. But standing here in my own space, I see it. I was enough all along, my worth, not theirs to define. The doorbell rings, and Sadie's there, her arms full of a bakery box tied with twine, the scent of sugar wafting out. She grins, kicking off her shoes, her socks mismatched, and we settle on the couch, the cushions sinking under us. The cookies are oatmeal raisins, still warm, their edges crisp, and we eat them straight from the box, crumbs falling on the rug. She asks how I'm holding up, her voice gentle but direct, her eyes searching mine. I tell her about the yoga, the lavender, the way I'm starting to feel like me again, my words slow, deliberate. She nods, her eyes warm, a smile tugging at her lips. You're different, she says. Stronger. Not because you left, but because you chose, you your own path. We talk about family, about how it can break you and build you at the same time, its weight both heavy and light. Sadie shares a story about her own mother, how they fought for years over small things, curfews, choices before finding a fragile peace, a balance that holds. It's not perfect, she says, but it's honest, real. Her words settle over me like dust catching the light, and I realize I'm not running from Abigail or my parents. I'm just learning to meet them on my own terms, to stand without bending. The lavender catches the light outside its buds, brighter now, and I feel a quiet shift, like the world slowing down, giving me room to breathe, to be. Sadie leaves the cookie box half empty on the table, its twine loose, and I'm alone again, the afternoon light soft through the window, painting the walls gold. An email from Abigail waits in my inbox, sent last night, its subject line simple. I'm sorry. It's long, her words careful, tracing her regret for the wedding, for believing Harper, for shutting me out, each sentence a step toward me. She wants to talk, to rebuild, her voice clear, even in text. My parents sent a letter too, arriving yesterday, its envelope worn, promising to hear me, to change their handwriting, familiar but new. I read each word, but I don't reply. Not yet. The urgency to fix things has faded, replaced by a need to sit with myself first, to know my own shape. I've signed up for an art class, something I loved as a kid, but let slip away my pencils, traded for practicality. The studio's a short walk away, and I go there now, a sketchbook tucked under my arm, its pages crisp. The room smells of paint and wood, a warm, alive scent, and the teacher, a quiet woman named Elise, nods. As I take a seat, her smile welcoming. We're working with watercolors today, and I dip my brush, the bristles soft, letting colors bleed across the page, blues and golds swirling alive. They're not perfect, but they're mine, a way to say what words can't, a language I'm learning again. Each stroke feels like a step, not away from the pain, but through it, a path I'm carving myself. Harper texted an apology, too brief and stilted, asking to meet, her words thin. I wrote back, polite but firm, I'm not ready. I don't need her guilt or her explanations. Her presence a shadow I've outgrown. Closing that door feels clean, like sweeping dust from a room. I'm done with the air, clearer now. I think about the years I spent measuring myself against others. Abigail's ease, my parents' expectations. Harper's sharp edges, their judgments, a mirror I couldn't escape. That Nora's gone, or at least she's resting, letting me find my own shape, my own light. Back home, I pull a small wooden box from my shelf, one I've had since I was a girl, its edges worn smooth. Inside are keepsakes, a ticket stub from a concert, a seashell from a beach trip, my grandmother's note, its paper fragile. I unfolded, her words still steady, always stand tall, Nora. I slip it into a frame, simple and unadorned, and hang it above my desk, the glass catching the light. It's not a trophy or a shield, just a truth I'm ready to live by, a quiet anchor. The lavender outside sways in the breeze, its scent drifting in, and I stand at the window, my breath slow, my heart quiet. The world feels wide, not heavy, and I'm here whole, ready for whatever comes next. Months have passed since Abigail's wedding, and I'm in a new rhythm, one I've built piece by piece, deliberate and slow. My mornings start with a walk through the park near my apartment, the air crisp, the leaves crunching under my sneakers, their sound a soft cadence. I've traded coffee for tea, a small shift that feels like a gift to myself, the mug warm in my hands, its steam curling in the cool air. The park's quiet, just joggers and dog walkers, their footsteps a gentle hum, and I let the world move around me. No rush, no wait. I'm learning to live in these moments, to let them be enough to carry me forward. I met Abigail for coffee a few weeks ago at a small shop with mismatched chairs, their wood creaking under us. She was nervous, her hands twisting a napkin, its edges fraying as she spoke. She owned her mistakes, the rumor, the way she let Harper's lie blind her, her voice soft but earnest. I listened, my heart steady, not racing like it would have before, my hands calm around my cup. We didn't hug or cry or promise to be close again. Instead, we agreed to try to talk, to be honest, even when it's hard, our words careful but real. It's not the sisterhood I dreamed of, but it's true, grounded, and that's better, a foundation we can build on. My parents came next, a dinner at their house, the first in years, the smell of roasted chicken filling the air. The table felt familiar but different, their voices softer, less guarded. They apologized not just for the wedding, but for the years of looking past me, their eyes meeting mine for the first time in too long. I set boundaries clear and firm, no more assumptions, no more silence. My voice steady as I spoke. They nodded, their hands folded, and for the first time I felt seen, not as the daughter they wanted, but as me, Nora, whole. We're not fixed, but we're talking, and that's a start, a thread I'm willing to follow. My balconies become my sanctuary, the lavender now tall, its scent drifting through the open door, mingling with the city's hum. I've added marigolds, their bright orange, a quiet rebellion against the gray days, their petals vivid against the green. I sit there most evenings, a book in my lap, its pages soft, letting the city's hum fade, the world slowing. I've stopped checking my phone for validation, stopped waiting for someone to tell me I'm enough. The quiet's taught me more than their words ever did, a lesson in stillness and being. The art class has become a lifeline, a space where I'm free. My watercolors are bolder now, less afraid of bleeding past the lines, their colors vibrant, alive. Elise, my teacher, says my work has soul, her voice warm, and I believe her, the words settling in me. I'm painting for me, not for applause, and each brushstroke feels like a truth. I'm finally speaking a story I'm telling myself. The studio's my church, a place where I'm whole, where the past doesn't dictate the colors I choose, where I'm free to be. I breathe easier here, my shoulders soft, the world wide open, its edges soft and welcoming. My life's taken on a new shape, one I'm still learning to hold, its contours unfamiliar, but mine. I've started volunteering at a community garden, a plot of green tucked behind a library, its soil rich and dark. Every Saturday I'm there, hands in the dirt planting tomatoes and basil alongside strangers who've become friends, their laughter light, easy. The work is simple. Dig, sow, water, but it's taught me patience. The kind that trusts growth comes in its own time, steady and sure. I laugh more now, not loudly, but from a place that feels true deep in my chest. The garden's become a mirror showing me how to root myself, how to bloom where I stand, my hands steady in the earth. Jenna's getaway that weekend after the wedding turned into a tradition, a ritual we've kept. We drive to a cabin by a lake, just the two of us, sometimes with Sadie or other friends. The road winding through pines. The water's calm, reflecting the sky, its surface a quiet mirror, and we sit on the dock talking about dreams, fears, the things we're still figuring out, our voices soft against the night. Those nights with stars above, and the lake's soft lap feel like home, a warmth that settles in my bones. They've shown me family isn't just blood. It's the people who choose you, who see you when you're quiet, who stay their presence a gift. I've let go of the need to be right, to prove I was wrong, the fight draining out of me. Abigail and I text now, small updates about our days, a new recipe, a funny moment, a slow rebuilding, careful but real. My parents call weekly, and I answer our conversations, careful, but growing, their voices softer now. I don't need their full understanding anymore, just their effort, and they're trying their words, a bridge we're crossing together. I've learned forgiveness isn't about erasing the hurt, it's about choosing to carry it lightly, letting it shape you without breaking you, a weight you learn to hold. The deepest truth I've found is this: you have to choose yourself, even when it's lonely, even when it aches. It's not selfish, it's survival, a quiet act of courage. Standing up for your worth doesn't mean shouting or winning. Sometimes it's just walking away, planting a seed, painting a messy stroke, or sitting still until you hear your own voice clear and true. I used to think love meant fitting into someone else's story, bending to their shape, but now I know it starts with writing your own flaws, and every line yours. That's where the healing lives, in the quiet courage to be whole on your own terms, to stand tall in your own light. What's a moment you chose yourself, even when it was hard? Share it below. I'd love to hear your story. If this resonated, give it a like, subscribe to join our journey, and share it with someone who needs it. Thank you for being here, for listening, for carrying your own light. Here's to healing, to growing, to finding peace in the life you're building, one step at a time.